Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the AIAMC podcast. I am your host, Dr. Diana Singer. I am a member of the AIAMC Board of Directors, and I am thrilled to be here today with Ryan Pong, who's one of our physicians, who's a vice president and also chief academic officer at Virginia Mason Franciscan Health. And most exciting, he is our newly appointed vice president and president-elect for the AIAMC. And we are also joined by Gillian Abshire. She is our reappointed member at large for the board of directors and is also the director of graduate medical education at Virginia Mason Franciscan Health. So I'm so excited to interview these two. They are quite the power duo coming to us from the West Coast. And I am just excited to hear what they have to say about the AIAMC and their role on the board of directors. So Ryan, I'm going to start with you. First and foremost, congratulations. You're our incoming vice president, president-elect. Lots of big shoes to fill there for sure. What aspect are you most looking forward to?
Well, thanks, Diana, and thanks for the opportunity to chat with you and everybody who's about to listen to this. Really appreciate the opportunity to get to know all of you. There's so much to be looking forward to with the AIAMC and the direction that healthcare is going. I've been part of the AIAMC and participating in various ways since National Initiative 3. So I've had a long time to see the value that the organization brings to our membership and most importantly, our patients. When I think about the AIAMC, I think about the AIAMC really supports the scaffolding that holds up our clinicians. We're all about providing excellent patient care. And the question is, how do we do that in the context of education? And how do we do education in the context of healthcare and the dynamic changes that are always occurring? So one of the things that I'm most excited about with the AIAMC is really how do we flex and change as an organization to help bring our membership together to understand that change, to adjust the change, but then innovate in that space to deliver high quality education and high quality patient care with all of the big changes that are coming in healthcare these days.
Yeah, really exciting. You know, we might have some listeners that aren't aware what the national initiative is and might be, just stepping their toes in AIAMC. So, can you think back what year would have National Initiative 3 been? Like how long ago are we talking?
I was a pretty new faculty member, so I don't know, I'd be guessing. I think it's probably around 2009, 2010-ish. Gillian, do you
Yeah, it
that
was
seem?
my recollection 2011, 2010, 11, around there.
So
Yeah.
I was graduating college, no pressure.
Thanks, Diana.
You're welcome for that. So why don't you explain what the national initiative is and what benefit it's brought to your organization?
I feel like Gillian's would be a better ambassador of the national initiatives. I'll give you my very high level understanding and how I participated in it. But national initiatives are when a whole collective of us across our AIAMC membership decide on a direction that we think we should go together. There are projects that occur at each of our member sites. They're usually related in some way, in some theme. And then we really leverage each other as outside eyes to give feedback and ask questions about the projects and also offer solutions, something that might have worked somewhere else, and bring that back home. Gillian, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great description. And really, what happens is every one of these individual organizations that comprise the entire AIAMC works focally on a project that will enhance quality and patient safety. And in really what I love about it the most is it truly does involve the residents and fellows at these organizations in that work. And so I think that's the hallmark of it is that improvement work is happening at the hands of the residents and fellows who are learning about processes for making these systems work together to bring those improvements to patient care. And the theme is great because then we are usually following what's happening in the external environment and trying to predict and look forward to what are the big lifts that each organization is going to be facing, either through our regulatory bodies, our the ACGME, whatever the different forces that come to bear on graduate medical education teams and departments, we try to look ahead and see what is coming and then get a leg up on making advances in doing that work in advance of the actual regulations or standards being put in place. So I like that too about it because it helps you sort of predict and prepare for the future a little better.
I like that perspective. I think of the word agility when I think of the AIAMC, of kind of being on the cutting edge of these new requirements and different things that are coming down. I was laughing. I was digging through my desk just a couple hours ago looking for something and came across a bag of challenge coins from NI10.
Oh.
So we also like to have some fun and competition. But speaking of challenge coins and secret handshakes, so Ryan, it was great to see you at the meeting 2 weeks ago in San Diego. I like to joke that Ryan has a secret handshake with another organization that he won't teach me, but I'm getting over it. It's okay. We'll make Gillian. We're gonna make an AIAMC handshake the next board meeting. But Ryan, it was so great to see you. And I laughed so hard as people asked me about the conference, and I just showed him a picture of the palm trees and the background in San Diego. And I said, yeah, it was a really rough life to be in that environment for a week, to be surrounded by brilliant colleagues, beautiful weather. Like, what more could you possibly want? But anything that stood out to you specifically from our meeting, or a favorite part that you want to share?
Well, we may have handshakes, but we don't have dynamic T-shirts that you and your
Oh,
team
matching
have.
shirts.
So, so that always is a standout. So thank you for bringing that back. The meeting was really fantastic. I had a great time in the educational sessions. Dr. Stephanie Call's keynote was really on point. We deal with a lot of ambiguity and change in healthcare, and to see it concentrated in Hurricane Helene and hear the reflections back on how that went and what could be done better, and lessons learned really do apply to every day as you lead in graduate medical education and the educational space in healthcare. So that's always a highlight, just the program itself. And kudos to the programming team, because they really hit it out of the park, and it was a fantastic lineup. Um, for me, the AIMC and the meetings, it's actually the space in between that's the most meaningful, though. It's the time when you're going to your next session, it's the lunches and the breakfasts together, because you're with your people and you're learning from your people in a very informal but very helpful way. And you get to know people so much more deeply than some of the more other national organizations that we all are part of, as you're scurrying around from thing to thing, and there's 5,000 other people trying to do the same thing. The AAMC is very different in that way. Like, I remember for the NI9, I was one of the cohort leaders, and I got to learn all in depth of some of the projects that were going on. And it was really fantastic to run into Heidi Knega again from Wayne State and hear about her project that she led and the writing in healthcare. We have a similar program in one of our residency programs around art and medicine, and just hearing Heidi's work and the work that's being done by one of our really innovative program directors here is really just fulfilling and nice to hear, and also seeds new ideas of what we can bring back to our programs here at home to push them even further. So it's just really amazing time to spend together, and the palm trees and sunshine did help too.
I love that. Kathy Zoppi, another board of directors member, we always refer to the AIMC meeting like a family reunion, but only if you like your family. We realized we kind of needed to qualify that. But yes, a family reunion in all of the best way possible. To see all these people that are just, doing the same thing, and remember that you're not alone and we're all in this together in GME across the country. So Ryan, one last question for you regarding the AIMC is, as you're stepping into this leadership role, and let's say you're the one that's now in charge of advertising for the AIMC. If we were, let's say that where I'm at, we weren't an AIMC member, what would you want us to know? You kind of touched on this a little bit, but what makes the AIMC unique and different than those other organizations that you're a part of?
Well, we already mentioned the size of the meetings and the familiarity that you get. And I love the analogy of family that you like. And I kept hearing from people throughout the meeting, it's like, I finally found my people. And you heard that from our members, and you hear it from the vendors too, which is kind of strange to think about. but it's always neat to hear like this is such a small and well familiar, it's a familiar community where everybody's aligned around providing the best patient care, and how do we do that in the context of our educational programs. We're all trying to do that. And so to hear from each other about what's worked, what didn't work, how we screwed something up so you don't repeat that, or what worked really well so you can bring that home. The AIAMC really are our people, and we can be people for anybody that's interested in the same things that we are, high quality patient care and educating those that are going to be doing that.
Yeah, I love that, especially in sessions like the pre-sessions where you're sharing, more anecdotal stories of GME, and people will initially be afraid to share, and then they'll, be vulnerable about a situation, and people are like, oh yeah, we've been there, done that, have that t-shirt, literally. And so I love to hear that of, again, we face some odd things. I always say that my memoir is going to be titled "You Can't Make This Stuff Up: Stories from GME," but I think that's so true. And to be around that, shared community is just something really, really special. So I'm going to turn over to Gillian. So congratulations on being reappointed. You've been on the board since 2023. So what do you enjoy most about the AIAMC?
Well, I want to echo a lot of what Dr. Pong already mentioned, but I have to say it is truly about coming back together with a group of people who are tackling the same topics you might be, who are honestly sharing in a warm and accepting environment, challenging each other. Though I wouldn't say it's always, just all about happiness, sunshine, and rainbows. People really do bring issues that are that you grapple with, and it just makes you feel like it's real, it's honest, but you always sort of walk away inspired. I get inspired by the mixture of people in the room. There are folks from all walks of the GME world, and that mixture brings perspectives that are just so valuable. So I think I guess if I had to sum it up, I just really very much enjoy um, the inspiration that I get when I'm with people that are grappling with the same things that I am. In
I
a way
love that.
that it's not a class, you're not just consuming, you're exchanging. I guess that's the word I would use. There's more exchange than I see at most of these type of big conference events.
That's a great tagline. I really like that. Not just consuming, but exchanging. And I totally agree. In one of the sessions that I facilitated, we had somebody that had been in GME for 5 weeks, and we had somebody that's been in GME for more than 40 years. And so
Mm.
just that breadth of experience, I think, is so extraordinary. And just this inherent, I think our members are just so willing to give back and to share. Gillian, I know personally, you probably don't know this, but the first time I ever met you now years ago, I whispered to one of my colleagues from back home. I said, "Oh my gosh, it's a nurse that's also in GME. There's somebody else like me," because it's certainly a little bit unique to be the nurse that's working with training new physicians. But I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not alone." For so long, I felt like I'm the only weird nurse that decided to go work on the physician side. So I think that's just such a great testimony of the unique walks of life, but we all share that passion and that leadership connection, and it's just really special.
Yeah.
So you have been very busy with the AIMC and have served on the annual meeting planning committee for multiple times, like at least 6 times. So describe to us a little bit behind the scenes. What does it look like? What goes into planning this meeting? It's, again, I echo what Ryan said, one of the most organized and thoughtful meetings that I attend. So what does that look like? What do you enjoy about being on the planning committee? It's not too late to join the planning committee for next year, all those good things.
Yeah, the planning committees are structured in a way that folks go back to their trenches. They go take what they had learned and gleaned from their last AIAMC meeting, go back and get back to life. And then we come back together again. And it's sort of like a wave on a beach. There's things that sort of wash up for you, and incredible shells happen. And so as we leave and come back and start dealing with work, the planning committee is then brought together by our executive, Kimberly, who makes sure that we all get the right people get in the room, meaning those that are available and who have volunteered to be part of this endeavor. And then we start tossing ideas around. And it's a nice exchange because there's again folks that are reaching out all over the nation in different venues and different walks of life, different sizes of organizations, and then bringing the beautiful shells that we see out there waiting for us to pluck up off the beach as possible topics or keynote speakers or session workshop leaders. And so it's mostly the process is one of a ton of brainstorming and sharing of ideas, and then things start to gel. Again, brought on by what's happening a lot in our external environment and what we need to respond to, and what are the rocks in our shoes that are sort of guiding us towards where can we be most helpful. So that's how I describe it.
I love that. And if you don't know Gillian, she has a way with words and metaphors and analogies that always brings us back to center in our board meetings and sessions and everything. And I just love how you paint that verbal picture so beautifully. So you talked about the national initiatives earlier, but Virginia Masons participated in 10 of them. So you are very well seasoned. Tell me a little bit about your favorite national initiative and perhaps what it brought back to your organization that would inspire somebody to join the next.
Boy, we have participated in all 10. Um, and picking a favorite is very hard. Every one of them is some kind of adventure for some reason or another. It has mostly to do with the teams that are doing the work. And so you can imagine 10 times 10 different teams and different folks. It's kind of hard to pick, but I remember one of our first ones was about a pause, and it was the beginning of the pause, the procedural pause that you now all know. But it was unheard of back when we started this so many years ago. And the reason it is my most favorite is because it stuck the hardest and was also something that others also wanted to do after they learned about it. So I love the projects where the idea that your institution has trialed and put into place is picked up by others. It feels so good to know that what you're doing is becoming iterative quickly and being adopted by so many. And so I think I would have to say that would, if I had to pick one, that would be my most favorite. It's the one that like kind of got picked up by a lot of other places. So yeah, that's
It's
kind of
so
fun.
impactful. I just love
Yeah, it
that.
really is. Yeah.
Well, at the end of every AIAMC podcast, we like to pivot to some more personal, fun questions. Is there anything else either of you want to share about the AIAMC before we move to that? Any other thoughts or comments?
I would just add that another little element, Ryan did mention this, there, the way that the national initiatives roll out is that teams are, the nation's kind of put into a big bag of ideas and tossed up, and then themes emerge, and cohorts happen. And the cohorts stay together through the 2-year initiative, meeting regularly. And I really feel like the team members themselves build this camaraderie that happens over time as they watch each other's programs. And I just feel like it's a process piece that is unique to the AIAMC and also is incredibly helpful to those that are putting ideas into place. So I just want to add that I just think it's a fabulous piece of what National Initiative brings in terms of its process.
I love that.
Yeah, Diana, I would share with our membership, one, if thanks for always being a member, but get involved. There are so many different ways to get involved, whether it's being a cohort leader, being a national initiative participant, making t-shirts and giving sessions that are really outstanding at the annual meetings, or being a board member or planning committee member. This is an organization that leadership really makes a difference in, and the size of it allows us to be very nimble. So your thoughts and what you bring to the table are really, really valuable. And then for those that are watching this that are not members, you found your people, come and join and be with us.
Mm-hmm.
I love that so much. That's so true. All right. So I'm gonna hit you with my favorite icebreaker du jour, I should say. We switched these up, but I pulled this one out about probably 9 months ago, and it's become my favorite one. So I want you to think if you were in the car driving to work tomorrow morning, and all of a sudden they said, we don't need you today. The fire, like the hospital's not burning down, and there's nothing crazy going on. It's just everything's taken care of today. What would you spend your day doing?
I have no problem at all answering that question. I'd be headed straight back to my garden, brewing an excellent cup of coffee, and doing my garden walk. It's absolutely my happy place, and gets me the inspiration for what I'm going to be doing the rest of the day, which is working in the garden. But I just love that morning garden walk. That's where I'd head immediately if that happened to me.
I love that.
That's
Ryan?
fantastic. Well, it's almost summertime in the Pacific Northwest, which is the most glorious season. And part of my midlife crisis involved getting a little convertible. So I would probably drive the convertible up and down the coast with my wife. Hopefully, she could take the day off with me. And that's something I think that would bring me great joy.
Yeah, that's great.
It's fantastic. I love that you're like both of you are like embrace the good weather. No more rain, all those good things. Well, I'm going to end by asking you to share some of your wisdom and knowledge with a favorite current podcast or book recommendation. You guys all know I love to facilitate book club at each of our annual meetings. So if you were to choose a book or a podcast to recommend to our listeners, what would it be?
Well, my book choice would be Theo of Golden. Just read it and 100% recommend it. It is an incredible read. Theo of Golden.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Story, I don't want to give too much away, so I will just say that it's a glimpse into one man's approach to how he would reach out to people. And you pick up on his story a bit, but mostly what you learn is the power of listening to other people. And so it's sort of an iteration of many listenings, so many small stories within the book, and then a final, I will not reveal, spoiler alert at the end.
I love it. Oh, no pressure, Ryan. Try to top that one.
Yeah, that's a hard one. And mine, what popped into my head was a little more mainstream actually, but it's Andrew Weir's book, The Project Hail Mary,
Oh, it's
which
good.
now has a movie, and so it's out there in the silver screen. But it's a book that allowed me to connect. I have twin 17-year-old boys, and one of them wants to be an engineer. And Andy Weir has such a great way of writing about very complex issues and making it very entertaining and easy for everybody to understand. So that was my most recent read, and I enjoyed it very much, and it allowed for a lot of dinner time conversation with the family.
I love good conversation starter. Well, thank you both so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to join in today. It was great to learn more about you and the Pacific Northwest as well. So for all of our listeners, we hope you'll check out our other AIAMC podcasts on our YouTube channel and be sure to follow AIAMC on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Everyone take good care.